36 years. That's how long it has been since we last saw Pete Maverick Mitchell tear up the skies. And let me tell you, the wait was absolutely worth it. Today, we're diving deep into the adrenaline-fueled world of Top Gun, Maverick. A film that's not just a sequel, but a masterclass in modern filmmaking that respects its legendary roots. So, where do we find our favorite, rule-breaking pilot after all this time? Still a captain. After decades of service, Maverick has intentionally dodged every promotion that would ground him. He's a test pilot, pushing experimental hypersonic jets to their absolute limits. And yes, still getting into trouble with his superiors. In the opening scene, he pushes an experimental aircraft, the Dark Star, past Mach 10, defying a direct order from Rear Admiral Kane, played by the fantastic Ed Harris. The prototype is destroyed, but Maverick survives, proving it can be done. This stunt should get him kicked out of the Navy for good, but he has a guardian angel. His old ride Admiral Tomisman Kazanski now Pestikfin. Instead of being discharged, Maverick is sent back to where it all began, Top Gun, but he's not going back as a student. He's going back as an instructor, his mission. To train a detachment of the Navy's most elite A-18 Super Hornet pilots for a mission that has been deemed nearly impossible. A foreign nation has built an unsanctioned uranium enrichment plant in a deep, heavily fortified canyon. It's protected by an advanced network of surface-to-air missiles, or SAMs, and fifth-generation fighter jets. The mission profile is suicidal. The pilots have to fly low and fast through a winding canyon to avoid radar, climb a steep mountain, drop their payload on a tiny target, and then execute an almost vertical climb to escape, all while pulling insane G-forces and potentially dogfighting enemy aircraft. The group of young, cocky pilots Maverick has to train is the best of the best. We have the confident and arrogant hangman, played by Glenn Powell, who has shades of a young Iceman. There's Phoenix, a skilled and level-headed female pilot, her backseater Bob, and a few others. But the one who matters most to the story is Lieutenant Bradley Bradshaw. Call sign, Rooster. If that name sounds familiar, it should. He's the son of Maverick's late friend and radar intercept officer, Nick Goose Bradshaw. This is where the emotional core of the film really kicks in. The tension between Maverick and Rooster is thick enough to cut with a knife. Rooster resents Maverick, blaming him for his father's death and for pulling his application to the Naval Academy years ago, which set his career back. What Rooster doesn't know is that Maverick pulled his papers because of a promise he made to Goose's dying wife, Carol. She made him promise to not let her son become a pilot and suffer the same fate as his father. Maverick has carried that burden for years, and it's created a massive rift between him and the son of his best friend. This personal conflict plays out against the backdrop of the intense training. Maverick's teaching methods are, as you'd expect, unconventional. He tells his students, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. He pushes them harder than they've ever been pushed, forcing them to fly lower and faster than the mission parameters demand, trying to prove that the impossible is possible. He demonstrates this by flying the training course himself in a time that seems unattainable, showing them that it can be done. But his reckless style clashes with the by-the-book approach of his commanding officer, Vice Admiral Cyclone, who doubts. Maverick is the right man for the job and has Hangman lined up as the alternative team leader. The training sequences are simply breathtaking. The filmmakers put cameras inside the cockpits of real F-A-18s, capturing the actors actually experiencing the crushing G-forces. You see the strain on their faces. You feel the speed, the danger. It's an immersive experience that puts you right there, in the jet with them. This isn't CGI-heavy action. It's visceral and real, and it makes every maneuver feel incredibly high stakes. Alongside the high-octane training, we see a softer side of Maverick. He reconnects with an old flame, Penny Benjamin, a character who was mentioned but never seen in the original film. She's now a single mother and owns a bar near the flight school. Their relationship provides a grounding force for Maverick, giving him a reason to think about a future beyond the cockpit. It's a mature, believable romance that adds depth to his character, showing us a man who is grappling with his past and considering what life after the Navy might look like. One of the most powerful and emotional scenes in the entire film is the reunion between Maverick and Iceman. Val Kilmer, who has battled throat cancer in real life and lost his voice, returns to the role. His character, Iceman, also communicates through a computer screen due to illness. He is the one who has protected Maverick's career all these years because he believes the Navy still needs pilots like him. In a deeply moving moment, Iceman tells Maverick the Navy needs Maverick. The kid needs Maverick. It is a beautiful passing of the torch and a testament to the friendship that developed between these two former rivals. It gives Maverick the final push he needs to reconcile with Rooster and lead the mission. As day of the mission arrives, Cyclone, losing faith in Maverick's strategy, grounds him and decides to implement a more conservative but far more dangerous attack plan. But Maverick isn't one to sit on the sidelines. In a classic Maverick move, St. Laurent A18 and flies the training course again, this time completing it even faster, proving without a doubt that his plan is the only one that will work and get his pilots home. Left with no choice, Cyclone reinstates him as team leader. Now we get to the final act, and it is a non-stop, heart-pounding spectacle. Maverick leads the first strike team with Rooster as his wingman. The flight through the canyon is every bit as intense as the training suggested. They fly impossibly low, twisting and turning with the terrain, SAMs locking onto them from the ridges above. They manage to reach the target, but as they pull up in their near-vertical climb, they come under attack from enemy fighters. Maverick successfully destroys the plant, but during their escape, he uses his own plane to shield Rooster from an incoming missile, and his F-A-18 is shot down. He ejects behind enemy lines. Everyone thinks he's gone. But back on the carrier, Rooster sees Maverick's parachute and makes a fateful decision. He disobeys orders and turns back to save his mentor, just as Maverick is about to be executed by an enemy attack helicopter. Rooster destroys the helicopter, but is then shot down himself. The two are reunited on the ground in enemy territory. And this is where the film gives us an incredible dose of nostalgia. They find an old airbase and, in a hangar, they discover a relic, an F-14 Tomcat, the very same jet from the original Top Gun. What follows is a wildly improbable but incredibly fun sequence where Maverick and Rooster have to get this museum piece airborne. Maverick, of course, knows the F-1 for like the back of his hand, but Rooster has never flown one. They manage to take off, but their troubles are far from over. Their radio and navigation systems are shot, and they soon find themselves face to face with two advanced fifth-generation enemy fighters. They are outgunned and outmaneuvered. In a thrilling dogfight that calls back to the original film's climax. Maverick uses his old-school skills and the F-14's unique capabilities to take down one of the jets. But the second one has them dead to rights. Just when it seems like it's all over, a missile streaks past them and destroys the enemy plane. It's Hangman. He was on standby and came back to save the day, finally proving he's a team player. The trio of jets flies back to the carrier. But the F-14's landing gear is broken and the tailhook is gone. They have to make a dangerous emergency landing, relying on the carrier's arresting net. In a nail-biting finish, they slam onto the deck and are caught by the net, just barely stopping before careening off the edge. The pilots are welcomed back as heroes. The final scenes are all about resolution. The animosity between Rooster and Hangman dissolves into mutual respect. And, most importantly, Maverick and Rooster finally reconcile. Rooster looks at a photo on the wall, a picture of their mission success next to a picture of his dad and a young Maverick. He finally understands the sacrifices Maverick has made. The movie closes with Maverick, seemingly at peace, working on his P-51 Mustang. Penny joins him, and they fly off into the sunset together. After a lifetime of running, Maverick has finally found a place to land. Top Gun: Maverick is more than just a sequel. It's a love letter to aviation, to friendship, and to the legacy of the original. It manages to capture the thrilling energy of the 1986 classic while telling a more mature, more emotionally resonant story. It proves that Tom Cruise is still the biggest movie star in the world, and that some stories and some heroes are truly timeless. It's a film that leaves you breathless, cheering, and maybe even a little teary-eyed, a true cinematic triumph. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite films. See you in the next one.